and Young Adult Podcast.
Welcome to podcast 155.
155.
Good number.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
I like 155.
Me too.
I don't know why, but it just makes you feel good.
I feel great.
Let's go. Well, I'm gonna put this out there for everybody listening right now.
Put it into the universe. While you are putting that into the universe, I'm going to light our candle.
Okay. So last podcast, we tried all of the really gross soda pops, all 10 flavors. And you guys need to go watch that episode. Because it was so funny.
It's got to be seen with your eyes.
Yeah, I was talking, and I'm saying that because I was talking to some people who said they listened to it, and they said it was funny listening. I said, no. You got to go watch that one because it's way funnier to watch. It's my favorite podcast we've done, I think, so far. To watch, it engaged me, and I was one who I knew it was coming. Yeah, I watched, me and my wife watched it on YouTube because I was like, this is so funny. We got to watch this together.
It's very good. It's a very great podcast.
I also have a confession to make, and you know this.
So you're not confessing to me, or
I'm confessing to the audience. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to do a little bit of a throwback. 2 podcasts ago. I think it's 2 podcasts ago.
Vinny?
No.
Sorry.
Church staff draft.
That's 2 now. Wow, you're right.
That was two
today and then
right.
Church staff draft. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 podcasts ago, we did the church staff draft.
I think you officially won it. Just so you know.
I really enjoyed doing that podcast. That was one of my favorite ones to kind of prep for as far as just the fun conversation we're having. Mm-hmm. I loved it. But you know this, but the audience doesn't know this, and so I'm just going to let everyone know. I'm going to get it off my chest that I did ask for some help in creating my draft board.
I'm glad that you're finally letting the audience know you cheated.
Now, hold on. See, because I knew you were going to say that I cheated. I knew it. But the Bible says that there is safety in a multitude of counselors. I was just asking for counsel. And so I got some outside counsel. And I was going, though, and I don't actually know if any of the picks that they suggested, if I used them. Oh. A couple of them because you took them before I could. So I would have, but you took them before I got a chance. I might have. I'm not sure.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. But I'm just saying. I'm letting you guys know. But I'm also saying I don't think it was cheating. I think it was a great use of the people that were around in the office that day that you also had access to. Yeah. So I'm just saying that.
It's okay. So I actually just got off the phone with Kendra.
Okay.
So I was chatting with her about coming in and working on a project for us. And she says, hey, I got to tell you something. I was like, what? She's like, I have an evening routine now after Arlo goes to bed. Arlo is her daughter. If you don't know, she's got a 3-year-old. And I said, oh, what is it? She goes, well, I put her to bed and I come out and I have to clean up the kitchen.
Okay.
And she's like, I have a nighttime routine now where I put on the podcast and I start doing the dishes and wiping countertops. And she goes, and I just listen. And she's like, you guys, it has been wonderful to end my evening, clean the kitchen, listening to the podcast. And I thought to myself, that's it, baby.
That's the best review that we've ever got.
That's it. That's like gold because I have a daily routine where I flip on podcasts.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know if it feels like this to you, Pastor Aaron. Let me know if it does. It's like you're about to sit down with an old friend.
A little bit, yeah.
Like the voice that you're hearing.
Uh-huh.
It's like time to spend time.
Yeah.
With your friend.
Yeah. This is crazy. I love listening to podcasts so much that right now, it's getting nice out. It's getting warm out.
It is getting nice out.
And I love to in my car, especially when it's warm out, summertime, love listening to music, jamming to whatever's on the radio or Spotify. But I'm such a podcast guy, I will skip putting on music in the car and just listen to podcasts on my way home from work.
That's a sign of getting old. That's a sign of getting old, my friend.
I'm getting old up there. 27. Yeah. So old.
Yeah. I don't remember a single time in my entire life my mom or dad turning on music in the car. Not a single time. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. I feel like my parents listen to music all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Never turn on the radio to listen to music. My dad.
What do they listen to? Just silence?
Most of the time, the wind through the windows. I don't nothing. Yeah, silence. Which is psycho, right?
That sounds terrible.
What kind of psychos are they? Yeah, my parents.
I can't make that joke,
thoughts.
but you can make that joke.
The last thing I want in the car for a ride for 30 minutes is my thoughts.
Yeah, no way. I need something in there.
Yeah, man.
I've a few times been like on my way into work. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just gonna pray for a little bit on my way into work, and then I'll get done, and then I just like forget to put on music, and I get to church. I'm like, oh, that was the worst last 5 minutes of the car ride ever. And that was 5 minutes.
So yeah, it was that silence, mostly silence, and then sometimes sports talk radio, and then even the only other option after that, which was even rare, which was like be like a message on a cassette tape.
Yeah, I love it.
So, yeah,
I love it.
I love it too.
I think we can hop into our topic pretty. I don't have a big opening discussion.
Oh, we already had our opening discussion.
But I'm gonna do a shout out really quick to
your draft staff.
No, not to that. To the Detroit Tigers.
Oh,
because we're big Detroit sports fans, I would say.
Yeah, big time.
I'm not even a basketball fan, but when the Pistons were in the playoffs, I was following that series. Like, I was listening to games if I had the chance to. I wasn't able to watch any of it because I don't have the right TV stations. But I was listening to games. I was watching it on ESPN. I'm like, the Detroit team's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch whatever's going on.
I know.
But now the Tigers are the only sport.
Yes,
baseball's it, because I don't want to watch hockey or basketball with no Detroit teams.
No, I know. I'm there too. I mean, I don't turn on hockey now that if the Red Wings aren't in the playoffs, I'm not turning that on.
So, but the Tigers have been winning.
It's just been so much fun.
And it's been super fun.
It really has been so much fun.
And that's all I got to say about it.
So that's all I want to hear either. That's all I want to hear.
Just putting that out there. Way to go, Tigers.
Actually, this is just... You were telling me the other day, you were like, yeah, I was listening to the game on the radio.
This is funny.
I was listening to the game on the radio, and I'm like, man, they really need a home run here from McKinstry or something odd like that, right?
It's Javi Baez.
Oh, yeah, it's Javi Baez on the play. Man, it'd be really great if Javi Baez got a home run. And then, boom, he hits a home run.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes. And then, like, another guy, you're like, oh, man, it'd be great if this guy got on base.
Yeah, then it was McKinstry. I said, man, come on, McKinstry, you got to hit a double.
And then he hit a double.
He hit a double.
And then you're like, oh, it'd be great if this guy got, like, a single and, like, McKinstry got home. It'd, like, pad the lead a little bit here. And, in this inning, we really need to pad the lead. And all of a sudden, it's exactly what happens.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah. And
I couldn't believe it.
And I said, yeah, if these baseball players would just listen to us, they do great.
Yeah, if they just did what I said every time, it'd be great.
Every fan says the same. Every fan staring at the TV or listening to the radio going, come on, hit a home run. Or, come on, score a touchdown. Yeah. If they just listen to me, they win all these games.
Exactly.
That's funny. So let's get into the meat of this.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready.
As the old song says, let's get into the thick of it. You like that joke?
The irony was that we were talking about an actual old song right before we'd started live.
Yeah.
And then you pull out the old song
Just
into
not
the
an
thick
old
of it, which, yeah. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. Let's get into something.
We want to talk something out.
Yeah.
This is a new thought.
Brand new as of yesterday.
Yeah, I've never heard any of this before. So what we want to do is take the rest of the podcast and talk about this concept. I'll introduce it right now to you. You ready for this?
Go for it.
All right. How's your RPMs? And if you're unfamiliar with cars, RPMs are your revolutions per minute. Essentially, you got high RPMs, you're probably going really fast.
Yep.
If you got low RPMs, then you're sitting in idle.
Yeah.
Or You're just barely going down the street, like a few miles per hour, real low RPMs. You know, we could also ask the question, not just how's your RPMs, but maybe like, what gear are you in?
Yeah, what gear are you in?
What gear are you in? And the wise ones know, Pastor Aaron, what gear to be in and how to maintain the RPMs.
Yeah.
So 2000 and blah, I can't remember. I bought a stick shift car.
Okay.
A Toyota Scion.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's a fun car.
All right.
Super fun car. I liked it a lot. And on a side note, it held its value really well, and I sold it for almost the amount I bought it.
Wow. That's
know.
awesome.
So
Never happens.
I know. So anybody out there is looking for a car, just buy a manual Toyota Scion. And it's just a podcast tip. All right.
I like it.
All right.
It's a little life tip.
It's a life tip. So, but learning how to, get into gears and like doing all things. And this was the first manual car that I had ever owned.
Okay.
So every now and then, I forgot I was driving a manual.
Okay.
So, you into first gear and you take off and go. And then your mind gets thinking about something else and you're driving out of the neighborhood. And all of a sudden you're just like, you just kind of feel something's off.
Yeah.
It's like the noises of the engine, the throttle, the accelerator is just like, whoa, it's so touchy. You're like, you're like, what's wrong with my car? My car's about to break. And then I remember, oh my gosh, this is a manual. Clutch in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the engine, the RPM slow down and you put it in neutral and you're like, I'm driving a manual.
Yeah.
And like kind of going too fast for a second.
Yeah.
Because you just were like hitting the gas.
Uh-huh.
And then you're up in third and okay, now we're rolling right here.
Right.
And so when you're driving that manual car, you're always aware of being in the right gear plus right RPMs.
Right RPMs. Yeah.
You don't want to drive down the road at 50 miles per hour in second gear.
No, you definitely don't.
Yeah, it's just you're probably could get up to 50. It's possible. I mean, I think you could get up to 50 in second gear, especially with certain cars.
Yeah.
Maybe not my 4-cylinder Toyota Scion.
Probably not that one.
Probably not that one. But like, I mean, you could get up to 50. But the problem, Pastor Aaron, is it's risky.
Yeah.
There's many risks involved, which is blowing your engine up, burning a lot of gas.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can't maintain it.
Yeah, it's definitely not maintainable.
It's not maintainable. You gotta go to fourth. You gotta get out of there. You gotta go to fourth. You gotta go to fifth.
Yeah.
You gotta get out of there. I feel like a lot of life, Pastor Aaron, is figuring out what gear you're in and where's your RPMs. And I thought we were thinking about this yesterday. So here's the question. And are we on to something here? Like, are we on to something here with this conversation? And also, do you think maybe like high schoolers should just be in first gear? College students should be in second gear.
Right.
Young married people got to get up to third gear.
Yeah.
So on. Like, is it feel like that's kind of how life should be?
Yeah. We were talking about this and I started just kind of thinking and writing some notes this morning. And I do think that life has a flow to it. And I think sometimes we want to break the flow. We want to go too fast or we want to slow down. Or it's usually in the opposite seasons. Like when I was in high school, man, I wanted to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go everywhere. I wanted to see everything. I wanted to change the world in 5 minutes, right? Like,
you knew how to change the world in 5 minutes too.
Oh yeah, exactly. I knew exactly how to do that. And
nobody
would listen to me, but
all the answers. Yeah.
I knew how to do it all. And then,
well, you played a lot of video games. They taught you a lot of stuff. So
exactly. But then, now season of my life, been married 3.5 years, coming up on our 4th year. We've got our first daughter. We're both working full time. And I'm like, man, if I could just slow down. I feel like we're constantly looking for or longing for even the opposite position that we're in. But I think life has a flow, and I think that's okay. I think it's good to get in the flow. Obviously, there's some things where you don't just go with the flow and everything. That's not a blanket statement, but when it comes to life, and I think, Pastor, there can be a danger of trying to get into that second gear or run your RPMs, do that next life thing too quickly. Yeah. When I was in high school, I had a 1994 Toyota 4Runner that was 2-wheel drive.
The 4Runner was 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, it was terrible.
The irony of that one, right?
But as I had this car, actually I had it maybe up until I was, I don't know, maybe like 20, 21, something like that.
I remember your 4Runner.
And the longer I had it, the more and more problems kept happening with it. I had a bunch of stuff that went wrong. And I had this problem where if I started it and then tried to drive right away.
How dare you? How dare you start your car and drive right away?
Right. The engine needed like 5 minutes to warm up.
I love how like cars won't let you do basic things. This car works great until you hit the accelerator.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't like
so
that.
I was like, this car, if you started right away and tried to take off, it would stay in first gear. It wasn't even a manual, it was automatic, but it would not shift. And the RPMs would just, you could hit the gas and they would fly up and the car just go, and it wouldn't go.
You're just trying.
You could go like 25 miles an hour. That was and then all of a sudden it would go, and then you take off. It was terrible.
I bet you checked your rearview mirror like, what is this, not transmission on the road right now? Like, oh my gosh.
And then, that car just died.
Yeah, I bet.
The engine just did not run anymore.
I could see that. I could see that happening.
And I would literally, I remember a couple of times pulling out of my parents' house. My parents live on a pretty busy road. During sometimes Hickory Ridge Road right here where the church is on, and I would pull out and I just try to hit the gas because sometimes you got to just get going.
Yeah,
and I would just hit the gas and the engine would just scream really high and nothing would happen.
Yeah.
But I think we try to do that in our life so often. Especially I was thinking about teenagers. I know I did this as a teenager. I was constantly trying to move my life into the next gear.
As quick as possible. Nothing. Okay, every 14-year-old wants to be a 16-year-old.
Exactly.
Every 16-year-old wants to be 18. 21.
Yep.
25, and then you're like, no more, right?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. But there's a danger, I think, to even the Bible says, in Ecclesiastes, there's a time for this and a time for that. Mm-hmm. There's a time to plant, a time to harvest, and he, Solomon lists a bunch of things. I'm not going to list the entire thing there, but there's a time for stuff, and we so often, Pastor, I think, try to rush into the next season. I don't think that's really healthy.
I wrote this down, and I don't know if this is true either. Like I said, we're hashing this out.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. You don't know what I'm saying. This is live hash session.
And if you guys have like opinions on some of this stuff, let us know in the comment section. If you
leave a comment for sure.
If you feel like we're onto something here, let us know. If you feel like you got something to add, let us know. I'd appreciate it a lot. But like I was thinking about this because I already said to you, like if you're young, you should be in first gear. Mm-hmm. It's kind of sad, Pastor Aaron, when a young person is forced into adulthood too quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
And you could be forced into adulthood for a few reasons. Mm-hmm. Maybe mistakes made, like you messed up with the law.
Yeah.
You're like just turned 18 and all of a sudden you committed a crime and, you got 20 years in prison.
Yep.
Like you're talking, your life has completely shifted into a completely different gear way too early.
Yep.
Or you're young and you get pregnant.
Yeah.
You're forced into the next gear.
Absolutely.
There's certain things of life, or it could happen without your knowing. Like maybe you have parents who die, and all of a sudden, life. You're forced into adulthood.
Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. It just life happened, and all of a sudden, man, I got to grow up right now.
Yeah, you're forced.
Yep.
You're forced to go to the next gear, maybe even 2-3 gears up quickly. The best, Pastor Aaron, is when a young person, I think, stays in first gear, and they know it. They know it. They know they're in first gear. They stay in first gear.
Right.
But here's was my other thought, was like as you age, as you get more responsibility and you pace your life out properly, you go up in gear, you go up in gear. I mean, right now, for me in my life with 3 kids, I got a middle schooler and I got 2 elementary age kids, I'm probably in 4th, 5th gear.
Yeah.
And I'm peaking.
Yeah.
And this is what I was thinking is then eventually though, Pastor Aaron, is I'll have a child leave the house.
Right.
And I'll go down a gear.
Yeah.
I'll retire one day.
Right.
I'll go down a gear.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 85 in 5th gear.
In 5th gear. No.
See, that was my thought too about this.
Yeah.
Am I onto something here with this thought? Is that there is an arc to your life. And it's tragic though when your arc doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I
like when a grandparent is raising their children's children because their children are gone.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be winding down in life.
Yeah.
And now they got maybe that happens all the time when grandparents are raising 2 to 3 grandchildren.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a really similar thought written down about that idea of, man, it should go up. It should start as a teenager. You don't need to rush into adulthood, but at the same time, then once you kind of, get later into life, there should be that downshift. It should change. There's that arc. And I think, Pastor Luke, I wanted to, if you're okay with this, I kind of want to
switch gears.
I want to shift gears a little bit.
I love it.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
I was thinking about another car experience that I had recently. So me and my wife, right before our daughter was born, somebody hit my wife, rear-ended her in her car, and we had to get a new car. And it was a little bit stressful because
always terrible.
It was buying a car normally is stressful. It's definitely stressful when your wife is like 8 months pregnant, and we're trying to get this new car before before the baby comes, and we got it just in time. But this new car has this crazy technology that I've never had in a car before. Okay, where if it senses you're getting too close to an object, like if I'm going down the road,
yes,
and it senses a car like braking in front of me, it'll warn me, little light and little jingle will go off, and it says warning, car in front of you,
like a ding or something.
Yeah, but then if you don't do anything about it, if you don't hit the brakes, it brakes on you.
Wow.
And I didn't know that until I was driving home one day from work, and there was a car that was turning left. And I could see that this car is about to turn left, like they're just waiting for oncoming traffic to turn. They got a huge gap. They're going to turn, and I'm kind of coming. I just let off the gas, and I'm like, I'm not going to hit them at all.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Normal driving. But my car, the car doesn't see all that stuff. It doesn't see that they're turning left, that there's a brake. So it just put out the sensor that there was a car in front of me, dings at me, and I'm like, yeah, I know, like I'm going to miss it. Like nothing's going to happen. And then all of a sudden it slams on the brakes. And I went like flying forward, and like my head hurt. I was like, I almost hit my head on the steering wheel because I had no idea it did that. I was like, golly. I got home and I was like complaining to my wife about the safety feature on this car.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't make you safe. It actually sometimes feels like it distracts and makes things worse.
Yeah. And then I started thinking about that experience and how sometimes we find it like, man, I feel like I'm going too fast in life right now.
Yeah.
I got too many things going on. And instead of just downshifting and trying to slow down a little bit, we will just try to slam on the brakes. And
it affects you and a lot of others around you too when you just slam on your brakes.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes if you don't slow down though, maybe life will slam on the brakes for you. If you're trying to run everything, control everything, there's probably going to come to a point where you're not going to be able to do it anymore. And something's going to happen that you can't control, and maybe might force you to slow down.
I got a good verse here.
All right.
Did you find any verses kind of like to support this conversation that we're doing right now?
I had one. It's not a verse, but like a whole Bible story.
Sure. Okay, so I got a verse. First Thessalonians 4.
All right.
11 through 12. It says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. Mm-hmm. You should mind your own business. Work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, so that you will not be dependent on anybody.
It's a good verse.
It is a good verse, and it has a good way of summing up a lot of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I totally agree.
One of the most important flows of life is knowing when to switch gears. Mm-hmm. Knowing when to switch gears. So it feels like common sense sometimes for people to know when to switch gears. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, Pastor Aaron, people don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get it. So I went to college.
Yeah.
And I had my freshman year. I was just a few weeks in the dorms at this point. My roommate was a guy, and his name was Nate. And his older brother came into the room one day and said, "Hey, can I talk to you out in the hall?" I was like, "Sure." I'd never met his older brother before. I didn't even know he had an older brother.
Okay.
His older brother is like a senior.
Okay.
And so he's like, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" I was like, "Maybe."
Yeah.
I think I said, I'm like, "Maybe." He's like, "Can you make sure Nate washes his bed sheets and takes showers?"
What?
And I was like, no. I'm serious. I was like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, "Really?" I was like, what's going on? I was like, what is going on? He's like, "Well, our mom wanted me to check on him and make sure that he's cleaning his sheets and taking showers." And I told my mom, "I'm so busy, Mom. I can't do that." And I thought I'd just talk to his roommate, see if you would do it. I was like, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing it. He's like, "Yeah, I thought you'd say that. All right, bye." And he's like, I don't think I talked to that guy ever again. I'm serious.
Man, what a conversation.
And it makes me think, yeah, seriously, what a conversation. And by the way, he rarely showered and never washed his bed sheets.
Oh.
So it makes me think of this. This guy went off to college. He's on his own. He's 1,000 miles away from home.
Yeah.
And he's not shifting gears.
Yeah.
He's not getting to the next gear in life. It's very simple responsibilities to shower and wash bed sheets, but he's not making the shift.
Yeah.
He's not making the shift. You've got to switch gears in life when the time is appropriate. I wrote some things down here. We're pretty much finished up, Pastor Aaron, but let me finish off with a few of these little axioms, I guess you could call it, I have on here. I wrote this: don't live your entire life in first gear. Mm-hmm. Also, don't live your entire life in fifth gear.
Yeah.
So live life switching gears.
Yeah.
Switching gears. Then I wrote this down. A question, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Do young people struggle with living life in the wrong gear right now? Are young people struggling right now living life in the wrong gear?
Yeah, I don't know if you're asking me or not.
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm asking the audience, you can answer that yourself. I don't think I'm necessarily asking you.
Yeah.
I think I'm asking the audience, like, if you're a young person listening to this, are you struggling right now to live life in the wrong gear?
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with being young and not having much responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be an influencer. You don't need a side hustle. You don't need to do any of that stuff. You don't need that responsibility. Don't even try to get it. It's not worth it. And then, no matter what age you are right now, if you're listening, you know, are you living your life in the right gear right now? Mm-hmm. Those are just a few of my thoughts, axioms, statements, questions. Stuff I even ask myself a lot.
Yeah. I really like it, and I just want to. I'll kind of leave with this. I'm gonna read this verse one more time that you read, 1 Thessalonians 4:11 and 12, and it says, "To make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, you should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and then so you may not be dependent on anybody." There, you do have to take some initiative. When you're driving, you got to switch gears.
Yes.
Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. But you don't need to worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't look over and see what gear are they in, what gear are they in. Mind your own business and then win the respect of the other people. Because if you do that, other people are going to notice and say, seems like they got a good flow to their life going right now.
Yeah, they do.
And it's all right there, 1 Thessalonians 4.
Live a quiet life. There is a young guy in my neighborhood that has a car.
Okay.
And he'll come down the street, up and down the street, and it's a loud car.
You know when this kid's coming.
And the higher the RPMs, the louder it gets. And then like pops and explodes and
Oh yeah.
And he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
He's driving like 15 miles per hour, but his RPMs are super high because he's got the clutch in.
Yeah.
And he's just popping his engine and revving it. It's just slowly going down the street.
Going down that hill, yeah.
He wants everybody to hear him. See me, hear me.
Live a quiet life.
Live a quiet life.
It's good.
Yeah, it is. It is good. And I think a lot of the people in the neighborhood want him to read this verse. It's been great to be with you today, audience.
It's been good. It's been good. It's been a good one.
How would you describe this one? What was it like?
It was like, I don't know. I don't have anything for this one.
Okay.
What do you got?
I'm going to give it a shot. This one was like an appetizer. Felt like more like an appetizer. And something like edamame. Or some dumplings. Just
okay. These little ending food analogies are getting out of hand.
Just getting started.
All right, everybody.
It's been good to be with you today,
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Youth and Young Adult Podcast. Youth and Young Adult Podcast. Youth and Young Adult Podcast.